The man had slept for 10,000 years. When he finally woke up, he realized he'd become a captive of the elves, their shared living charger. The elves could only give birth to females, and only a cultivator's life force could help them reproduce. So every single day, he was drained to keep their race alive. What he thought was just a short 10,000-year meditation had passed through the great war between immortals and demons which brought the cultivation era to its end. Now the world was ruled by succubi and elves, and he was the last surviving immortal lord, Zhong Tianshan, while exploring the strange new world. He carried a jade bracelet that had accompanied him for millennia. That bracelet transformed into a white-furred fox named Bai Qing. Later, he encountered a squad of mages on a monster hunting mission. They were shocked. "Hey, civilian. What are you doing here? This area is crawling with monsters." Zhong Tianshan replied calmly, "Got a quest from a nearby village. I'm here to clear the beasts." Seeing his shabby appearance, they scoffed. "You? No gear? No mana? What a joke." One of them pulled out a mana sensor. The screen showed a reading of 0. They burst out laughing. "Even peasants have 5 points. You're too weak to be cannon fodder." Zhong Tianshan shot back coldly. "You barking at me? Even with 0 mana, I can still kill you all, but what the hell is mana?" The squad leader, Catherine, stepped forward and explained, "It's a special power used to fight monsters. Mana strength is ranked from E to S tiers." Catherine herself, though young, was already a D-rank mage. The blonde yelled impatiently, "Get lost before you drag us down," but Zhong Tianshan ignored him and walked straight into the forest. Seeing Zhong Tinshuan's determination, Catherine told her teammates not to stop him. "It's fine to bring one more civilian," she said confidently. "I can handle these monsters myself." Moments later, they were ambushed by a horde of goblins. Without hesitation, Catherine unleashed a tornado spell, erasing the entire swarm within seconds. Her 2 fanboys cheered, praising her power, but suddenly, a beast corpse appeared before her. The blonde fool noticed it wasn't moving and arrogantly stepped forward to taunt it. The next moment, he paid the price for his stupidity. Only then did he realize it was a Tier 3 monster, the Goblin Chieftain. With a deafening roar, the blonde and his partner collapsed in terror. Catherine quickly chanted, "O stars and abyss, grant me your strength," forming water magic in her hands. But the Goblin King simply waved his blade, deflecting it with ease. Faced with such overwhelming might, she knew this monster was far beyond her ability. Guilt twisted in her heart. Her arrogance had dragged that poor man into this nightmare. Before she could even react, the Goblin King swung his sword. All she could do was close her eyes and await death. But at that very moment, Zhong Tianshan moved, blocking the fatal strike. No matter how hard the Goblin King pushed, his massive sword didn't move an inch. Catherine stared in shock. 2 fingers, he'd stopped a Tier 3 monster's attack with just 2 fingers. Calm and composed, Zhong Tianshan said quietly, "Step back." Because once he acted, no life within a 100 miles would remain. Once she had retreated, sparks of electricity crackled between his fingertips. The Goblin King was drenched in sweat, sensing the sheer terror radiating from the man before him. Then lightning tore across the sky. Zhong Tianshan shouted, "Heavenly thunder descend." A thunderclap split the air, striking the Goblin King square in the chest. Catherine stood frozen, astonished. He'd one-shot the Tier 3 monster, a mortal summoning divine thunder. Could he be one of the hidden S-rank lightning masters? The 2 blonde adventurers awoke, staring in disbelief at the fallen Goblin King. When they learned that Zhong Tianshan was the one who had slain the monster, they rushed over, bowing apologetically and admitting they'd spoken out of turn. Then nervously, they asked how he planned to divide the monster's materials. Greedy as ever, Zhong Tianshan wanted everything. Still, after their desperate pleading, he generously tossed each of them 1 goblin claw. Then he gathered his spoils, ready to claim the bounty. But one of them noticed that the Goblin King was listed on the wanted board. Greed flashed in his eyes. He'd wait for Zhong Tianshan to leave, then sell the corpse himself. Yet, Zhong Tianshan wasn't the kind of man to miss such a detail. The moment he heard bounty, he packed up the entire corpse and hauled it to the Hunter Association. The total reward, 1,300 spirit orbs. The 2 could only watch helplessly as he kept everything. Before he left, Catherine suddenly grabbed his hand. Her face flushed as she thanked him and asked for his name. "Zhong Tianshan," he said, then walked away. Later, he headed to a bathhouse to relax. There he noticed the pendant dropped by the Goblin King, untouched despite his heavenly lightning. Within it, he felt a trace of cultivation energy. Soon after, he fell asleep. The pendant on his chest began to glow softly. A fox spirit emerged from the jade, whispering after 5,000 years. I finally awakened. Her eyes lingered on the man before his energy, so pure, so strong. To think I'd meet such a treasure after 1,000,000 years of sleep, I'll gladly take my share. With a teasing smile, the nine-tailed fox Bai Qing leaned in and kissed him. But as she drank in his energy, Zhong Tianshun suddenly opened his eyes. Though she was born of temptation itself, being caught made her cheeks turn red. Recovering quickly, she smirked. You woke me up, didn't you? Then you'd better take responsibility. Only then did Zhong Tianshan realize she was the true spirit of a jade pendant. As Bai Qing took a clear look at his face, her heartbeat quickened. A faint smile curved her lips. So handsome. I didn't even notice while drawing his energy. Let's see, she murmured softly, how much temptation you can really endure. With that, she exhaled a soft pink mist. The air shimmered, forming two alluring illusions that circled around him. Their voices were honey-sweet. Master, feeling lonely? Let's ease your mind a little. We promise you'll feel satisfied in every way. The illusions pressed closer, hands gliding against his chest. Can you feel our heartbeat, darling? Master, let me scrub you back first. Though the charm spell had already sunk deep into his mind, sorrow flickered in Bai Qing's eyes. If even this man can't resist me, she thought bitterly, then no one in this world can ever save me. I'll have to sleep for another 1,000 years. Yet, Zhong Tianshan stood motionless, his gaze unwavering. Are you done playing? He asked calmly. Bai Qing froze, her eyes wide in shock. The next instant, the backlash hit. She dropped to her knees, trembling in pain. 2 minutes later, she finally steadied herself and confessed, my true form is the ancient spirit treasure, Shantian Fox Pendant. I cultivated for 1,000 years to take human form. When the cultivation era ended, I fell into deep slumber until your energy awakened me. That charm spell earlier was just a test to measure the strength of your spiritual power. Tell me, are you a cultivator? Zhong Tianshan nodded. Bai Qing went pale, sweat beating down her temple. A war between the immortals and demons broke out 10,000 years ago. She whispered, and every cultivator was slaughtered. In their place rose the foreign races you see today. During my millennia of sleep, I never sensed a single cultivator alive. So how? She asked, trembling, are you still here? Zhong Tianshan frowned. His memory was incomplete, parts of his past erased. Bai Qing exhaled softly, a small smile of relief on her lips. At least you're alive, then I don't have to die. She looked up. Will you become my master? I can feel the immense energy flowing within you. In exchange, she added, I'll help you locate ancient artifacts. Deal, he said without hesitation. Bai Qing blinked, surprised by how easily he agreed. She had even prepared to offer herself. After all, she needed his energy to survive. But he only said, women slowed down my sword hand. Artifacts matter more than spirit energy. The next day, Bai Qing sensed an artifact nearby. They pushed through the crowd until they saw it, an enormous sword embedded in stone, an ancient relic none had ever pulled free. Zhong Tianshan felt it resonate with him, a pulse deep within his soul. A memory surfaced 10,000 years ago. The Forge Valley had poured all its might into forging this divine blade. Its creator had declared, only he shall wield it. The blade was called Yulong, the Wandering Dragon. When it finds its true master, it awakens as an azure dragon sword spirit. My sword, he whispered, so it survived even after the war. As he stepped forward to claim it, guards blocked his path. To draw the holy sword, you must first pass the trial of the brave. Only those with the recommendation of the 4 great families may enter. They tried to drag him out, but at that moment, Catherine appeared. The guards froze. She was the eldest daughter of the Steve family, one of the 4 great houses. Her eyes softened as she said, Zhong Tianshan, you wish to pull the holy sword? Then let me write you a letter of recommendation. Zhong Tianshan asked Catherine if she needed payment. Hearing her say no, he immediately told her to write one for Bai Qing as well. Catherine froze, beginning to suspect their relationship. The scene shifted. They arrived at the trial grounds filled with the scent of monsters. Soon, Saint Mel announced the rule of this trial, slay a Tier 3 monster and retrieve its core. Everyone broke into a cold sweat. They knew how terrifying a Tier 3 monster was. A blond man stepped out, Carl from the Onassis family, mocking that such monsters were weaker than dogs. Meyer from the DuPont family sneered, warning that arrogance could cost his life. Meyer's words pierced Carl's pride like a blade, leaving him furious. As Carl passed Zhong Tianshan, he looked down on him, saying the Steve family even sent a useless man to the trial. He believed this trial was already his to win. With Mel's command, the trial officially began. Seeing 3 paths ahead, Jean used a branch to decide. He chose the most dangerous one. Baiqing's heart tightened. She quickly asked if he had heard something. He thought she was just standing too close and didn't care. Something really moved in front of them. Baiqing looked frightened and said it must be a female ghost, but he didn't believe it, thinking it was just a lost girl. He reached out his hand to check. The moment she turned around, he instinctively threw a punch. Son of a, it really is a damn ghost. The more Zhong Tianshan thought about it, the angrier he got. He told Baiqing to strip the ghost clothes. Baiqing froze, shocked that he was this perverted. Even ghosts weren't safe. Before she could react, he had already stripped the ghost clean. Baiqing's eyes widened while he quietly calculated how much those silk clothes could sell for. Soon, they set their sights on another ghost, a purple-haired one. She turned her head. The moment she saw his ghostly face, she was scared half to death. That night, Zhong became the nightmare of every spirit in the forest. After stripping every last ghost of their clothes, he headed toward the depths of the secret realm. After spending a few days together, Baiqing started to feel he was a man who gave her a strange sense of security. Surrounded by monsters, she was no longer afraid. But just as she said that, a pair of beautiful legs appeared in front of them. It was a zombie maid slowly opening her mouth. Didn't expect you two to make it here, but looking at how skinny you are, you probably can't feel my stomach. Jean replied calmly, I'm not sure about your stomach, but your clothes are definitely not safe. Hearing him, the zombie girl froze, completely confused by what he said. He had a casually, I thought you just looked dumb. Turns out your ears don't work either. That line made the zombie girl furious. A blood-red magic circle formed behind her. Countless crimson bats poured out. Just as Zhong was about to strike, a streak of ghostly blue foxfire shot past his shoulder. Wherever the flame touched, the bats burned to ash instantly. Baiqing smirked, didn't think that even after sleeping 1,000 years, my foxfire control would still be this good. Zhong praised her and even said she could have this ghost as her practice target. Being ignored like that, the zombie girl's veins bulged in rage. As one of the fiercest monsters around, she had never been humiliated like this. The next second, Jean appeared right in front of her. Accidentally, his hand brushed against her melons. Feeling the warmth against her chest, her pale face turned bright red. She instantly leaped back to create distance. You damn pervert, she shouted, you don't even spare ghosts. Jean, remain calm. Don't get me wrong. Your clothes just look expensive. I'd rather take them off before they get ruined. Chanting under his breath, he unleashed his merciless dragon claw. Every ghost girl under his massage combo started screaming for help. Soon, he obtained an authentic maid outfit. From her body, a green monster core dropped. It was exactly the item required to pass the trial. Meanwhile, on the other side, Meyer also succeeded in obtaining his core. Suddenly, a faint noise came from behind him. It was Carl, the blonde from the Onassis family, his face dark. Lucky bastard. Got a core fast, too bad this is where it ends. In response, Meyer thought he was just barking like a dog and drew his sword to strike him. But at that moment, a hidden arrow flew in, striking Meyer precisely in the neck. He felt a wave of weakness and then died under Carl's blade. It turned out Carl had conspired with young Master John Walton to stage the accident in order to grab the monster core. What he didn't expect was that, in the next moment, he will be silenced by Carl. The sound came from a distance. Carl immediately recognized the aura of a tier for monster outside the secret realm. The saint also sensed the anomaly and planned to prematurely end this unexpected trial. As luck would have it, he had just run into that tier for monster. At first, the gargoyle tried to pose as a statue waiting to ambush. But after hearing him say he would wipe out every monster in Ghost Valley, the gargoyle finally couldn't hold back. A useless man with zero psychic power dared to talk big in front of him. He didn't care. After all, his eyes were fixed on the gem on the gargoyle's forehead, saying that he swung his fist and struck the gargoyle. The gargoyle flew out from the impact of the full-force punch. The gargoyle was stunned. He couldn't sense any psychic power from him, yet the punch was so strong. Apparently, the gargoyle realized he couldn't rely on power, so he had pushed his body to the extreme. Kid, the gargoyle saw through his basics. Let me show you my absolute defense. In this state, I am rock hard. Even if I use my strongest fist on you, my hand bones will shatter. Hearing that, he stepped forward and threw a punch, ignoring whatever the gargoyle was barking. He completely knocked the gargoyle out of its gargoyle state. Suddenly, a strange wave of demonic energy spread through the air. The gargoyle had realized that Zhong was different and decided to go all out. With a snarl, it unleashed dark invasion. Zhong instantly sensed the poison within the miasma. He quickly activated the protective golden pearl, shielding Bai from harm. That level of toxin couldn't harm him. One strike would be enough to end it. The gargoyle mocked, still playing hero at death's door. Zhong ignored him and began drawing talismans in Medar. The gargoyle thought he had lost his mind, but Baking's eyes widened. That's the 5 Thunder divine technique of the ancient Xiantian sect. She gasped. It can command lightning, cleanse evil, and even guide lost souls. I can't believe Zhong Tianshan actually knows it. As Zhong chanted under his breath, a glowing thunder orb formed in his palm. Seeing the tiny orb, the gargoyle burst out laughing. Magic? Without psychic power, what can Alabal do? Let me show you real magic. He sneered. A massive dark sphere formed above them as it floated toward him. Jean smirked. What I'm using isn't magic. It's immortal arts. His thunder orb shot forward, piercing straight through the dark sphere. It struck the gargoyle square in the face. A burst of destructive energy exploded outward. Bai Qing stood frozen, shocked by the overwhelming power of the 5 Thunder technique. Meanwhile, outside the secret realm, the saint saw the energy storm and assumed it was caused by the monster. Drenched in cold sweat, she ordered an S-class psychic to deal with it immediately. When the energy subsided, the depths of Ghost Valley had been flattened. The unlucky gargoyle was reduced to a lump of black charcoal. Fortunately, its monster core remained intact, worth a good price. Zhong then sat cross-legged, focusing on purging the lingering toxin. Baking smiled gently. No need to trouble yourself. The next moment, she leaned forward and began drawing the poison out of him herself. The scene shifted. Outside the secret realm, the saint stood guarding the entrance with her soldiers. When she saw Zhong carrying the charred corpse of a monster, everyone froze. Wait, isn't that guy the one with 0 psychic power? How the hell did he do that? The saint gasped. That aura from earlier, it was his. So he's been hiding his power all along. Meanwhile, inside the secret realm, a figure appeared in the sky, the master of the gargoyle. Gazing upon the ruins left after battle, she could clearly sense the lingering aura of immortal energy. But the immortals were wiped out 10,000 ago. I must report this to Lord Demon King. Soon after, Jean and the others returned to town. Only he and Carl remained from the trial. Carl jumped onto the stone platform ahead of him. He struggled to pull the sword for minutes, but it didn't budge an inch. Finally, he gave up. Guess the hero sword really is just a legend. The onlookers began to leave. After all, if even a genius like Carl couldn't lift it, no one else could. But the moment Zhong stepped onto the stage, the sword burst with radiant light. Master, you finally returned. A flood of memories surged through his mind. It turned out this was the very sword he once wielded, cutting his way from the southern gate of heaven to the eastern isles of Peng Lai. Back then, he cultivated and the sword bragged. The two of them leaving legends across the cultivation world. Without hesitation, he pulled it from the stone pillar. A blinding flash erupted. A massive azure dragon roared out from the sword. Long time no see, Shun Shun, feeling touched. I bet you're crying tears of joy. Why so quiet? Shocked by my godly beauty or lost in nostalgia for our glorious days? The dragon rambled endlessly. 2.5 minutes later, Zhong finally snapped and shouted at the narcissistic dragon to shut up. The crowd was dumbfounded. The holy sword had turned into a dragon and got yelled at. Seeing his success, Catherine rushed forward to congratulate him, but Bai Chain leaped first, hugging him tightly. Catherine froze on the spot, thinking, if only I'd moved faster, that hug would have been mine. Meanwhile, Jean was nearly smothered to death by Bai Qing's assets. Thankfully, the saint arrived in time to save him, asking to examine the legendary sword. Joan warned her that the weapon was extremely heavy. She dismissed the warning. A second later, the holy sword slipped from her hands. 263 with a thunderous bang, it slammed into the ground, leaving a deep crater. Seeing this, the saint realized the sword had recognized its master. No one else could even lift it. Only Bai Qing knew the truth. Yulong was an ancient high-tier artifact that only cultivators could control. Though many relic weapons still existed, Zhong Tianshan was the only one left who could actually use them. At that moment, Catherine's father arrived and invited Zhong Tianshan to dine at their mansion. Thinking about how much money he could squeeze out of that meal, his eyes lit up. He eagerly grabbed Catherine's hand with a grin. "Your dad's calling. Time to go home for dinner." Soon they arrived at the Grand Steve estate. Impressed by its luxurious style, Zhong Tianshan immediately asked for payment for drawing the sword. Steve simply smiled and said, "Name your price," which honestly surprised him. During the banquet, Catherine brought up the magic cores they had obtained earlier. She explained that magic cores were mainly used to strengthen equipment. The one Zhong Tianshan carried, a level 4 core, was worth enough to buy an entire house in this city. Hearing that, he was stunned. "I'm about to get rich." He thought before he could even celebrate that damn dragon. Yulong swallowed the magic core whole. "Not bad. Got any more?" Shun, I could go for seconds." "You bastard lizard." Zhong Tianshan yelled, "You just ate my house. I dug that core out of Monster Skull, spit my house back out." As the two argued, other noble families arrived with gifts. First came 30,000 spirit orbs in a property deed, typical of nobles, rich and flashy. The DuPont family offered a full paladin armor set, but Zhong Tianshan had zero interest. "Sell it for cash," he said flatly. Then 3 stunning maids approached, Ona's family special gifts, personally trained and selected. "Whatever master desires," one purred sweetly, "will gladly do." Even that kind of thing. But Zhong Tianshan, ever the gentleman, didn't even blink. "Sell them too, and the butler while you're at it." The maids froze. Never in their lives had they been returned. The last to arrive was Mel from the Holy Cross Order. She solemnly pinned a knight medal on Zhong Tianshan's chest, the highest symbol of honor and authority. Zhong Tianshan sighed, "Can I cash this in too?" Mel smiled gently. "I'm afraid not. This medal represents the Order's recognition of you. With it, you can command any member below rank D." Left with no choice, he accepted it reluctantly. After the ceremony, Mel approached Zhong Tianshan with a curious request. She wanted to touch him. "Don't get me wrong," she explained quickly. "My magic allows me to sense different kinds of power. I just want to understand yours. After all, a man with 0 psychic power shouldn't be able to draw the holy sword." She placed her hand on his chest, but no matter how she tried, she couldn't feel even a trace of psychic energy. "Maybe you need to get a little closer." The moment her chest pressed against him, Mel gasped softly. A surge of power beyond all mental force burst through her senses like a tidal wave flooding every nerve in her body. Her knees gave out and she collapsed overwhelmed. Well, what kind of energy is this? Suddenly, chaos erupted outside. A black dragon was rampaging through the city. Its fiery breath was about to engulf her. Zhong Tianshan stepped in front of her without hesitation. "Don't worry. I got this." With a calm exhale, he blew the flames away as if they were nothing. "Hey, sweetheart," he smirked. "Remember to pay the protection fee later." Mel blinked in confusion, cheeks red. "I don't have enough spirit orbs. Maybe I could pay in other ways, hero." Before she could finish, the dragon lunged. "Kneel," Zhong Tianshan said coldly, raising one hand. A single slap slammed the beast into the ground. The instant he touched it, he sensed spiritual energy pulsing inside its body. Yulon spoke up, "Master, this creature fought in the Great War between immortals and demons. It swallowed a sacred artifact ages ago, and the artifact's power tortured it for millennia. It sensed my aura and came seeking relief." "Artifact," Zhong Tianshan grinned and kicked the dragon skyward. Then he drew his blade in one swift motion, and with a single slash forced the long-tormented relic out of the dragon's body. It was an ancient spatial artifact known as the Mirror of Eternity. Within it, one could store treasures or even live and cultivate. Freed from its torment, the black dragon regained its senses. In disbelief, it muttered, "Yeah. You're the sect master of Shantian sect. Zhong Tianshan, I saw you fight the demon god with my own eyes until the very end." Then with a cryptic tone, it added, "You are him yet not entirely him." Zhong Tianshan frowned. He hated riddles. "Can you not just talk like a normal being?" But the dragon just stared, saying his face was the same, yet his aura completely different. "Even your power," it said, "is far weaker than your former peak. What happened to you? And is the demon god still alive?" "How should I know?" Zhong Tianshan scoffed. "Maybe he's long dead. The dragon roared in rage. Blasphemy. The demon god ruled the world itself. Your words are an insult. It unleashed a massive breath of fire toward him, but that only sealed its fate. The moment Yulong clashed with the dragon's breath, it devoured the flames whole. The beast shriveled up, turning into a dried husk. Seeking answers, Zhong Tianshan raised the magic core and baited Yulong to speak. The sword spirit sighed. I suppose you deserve to know the truth. You, it said, are but a fragment of the sect master's soul, a shard of divine consciousness that gained sentience by chance. The explanation made sense. Zhong Tianshan had always been asleep within the Xinyuan tree. A bolt of heavenly lightning had awakened him, and the sacred tree shielded him from demonic corruption, allowing his will to reform. Yulong then revealed the origin of that soul fragment. 10,000 years ago, the demon realm birthed a being unmatched, the demon god himself. When the high priest prophesied his death at the hands of a cultivator, the demon god defied fate, leading his legions against the immortal realm. Only one man stood till the end, Zhong Tianshan, sect master of Shantian sect. In the final clash, he sealed the demon god inside his very soul, perishing together in the process. Fortunately, Zhong Tianshan had once practiced the Shantian secret art, which split his divine soul into 9 fragments scattered across the world. Since he now bore the sect master's name, destiny demanded that he restore the glory of the cultivation realm. And to do that, he had to retrieve every lost soul fragment. No thanks, he said flatly. Whoever wants that responsibility can have it. Not my problem. Seeing that logic wouldn't move him, Yulong try another approach. The sect master left behind countless sacred artifacts. Find the memory shards and they'll be yours. Each one's worth a fortune. Money? Zhong Tianshuan's eyes lit up. Say no more. Let's roll. Soul fragments first, profit second. Meanwhile, in the demon realm, a witch reported to the demon god. A cultivator has appeared in the mortal world. The demon god's crimson eyes narrowed. Brimming his head, back in the city, Mel found herself strangely drawn to Zhong Tianshan. But as a nun of the Holy Cross Order, she buried those feelings deep. Catherine too felt the same ache in her chest. He was leaving tomorrow and she hated how much that hurt. Should I confess tonight? She whispered. Outside the room, Bai Qing noticed her hesitation. Though a little jealous, the fox spirit decided to help, casting a subtle charm spell. A faint pink mist filled the room. Catherine's eyes softened, her gaze hazy and dreamy. She stepped toward Zhong Tianshan, voice trembling with emotion. Before you go, please leave me something unforgettable. He immediately realized who was behind this, Dan Fox, but faced with Catherine's flushed face and trembling lips, refusing her felt unkind. The next morning, Zhong Tianshan hit the road only to find Carl, the blonde punk, blocking his way. This time Carl had backup. His mother, the S-rank psychic, Jenny, who wanted to claim the holy sword for herself. He'd also brought along the fathers of the 2 men he'd murdered, accusing Zhong Tianshan of being the killer. Both were S-rankers as well. Zhong Tianshan just laughed. S-rank, anyone who blocks my money dies. Howard erupted around him like a thunderstorm. Harappa sneered and summoned a thunderbird. Zhong Tianshan answered with Thunder Dragon Pierce, tearing the creature apart. Alan raised his shield just in time, draining all his energy to barely deflect the shockwave. The two stared wide-eyed. They finally understood the gap between them. Jenny, unimpressed, cracked her whip. Useless man, the whip lashed forward, raining down in a storm meant to shred him into pieces. Carl grinned wildly. That's what you get for pissing off my mom. But when the dust cleared, Zhong Tianshan stood untouched, his shield gleaming. Whips, he smirked. Cute, but that outfit of yours looks pricey. I'll take it instead. Jenny's face flushed crimson, then went pale. She turned and ran for her life. Carl froze, panic creeping in, 3S ranks, and none of them can touch him? Zhong Tianshan finally lost his patience. All right, Blondie. Let's test my new undressing sword technique. 2 flashes of light split the air, and Carl suddenly felt a chilling breeze as every stitch of his clothing fell apart. Why, you bastard? He screamed, face turning crimson. You dare humiliate me? I'll kill you. Jean ignored him, his gaze sliding toward Carl's mother. Don't move or you'll regret it. Jenny stiffened, misunderstanding completely. She shouted, my son's already grown. You and I will never happen. Magic circles flared around her hands. Dozens of glowing projectiles burst through the air. Jean sighed. All I wanted was your outfit. It looked expensive. And now I'm a pervert? Fine. He smirked darkly. Then I'll be a pervert to the end. He flashed forward, slicing her belts in two. Before she could react, he grabbed the whip from her side and bound her tightly with it. Jenny froze, trembling, her imagination running wild. Damn it, why did I have to be so beautiful? Carl screamed, beast. Let go of my mom. The two remaining S ranks finally moved, summoning their full power. The armored knight swelled in size, his armor groaning. He swung his massive blade down with a roar. Jean blocked easily, not bad, strong enough to split a mountain, too bad you're still trash. In the blink of an eye, he appeared before the knight and slashed. The giant fell like a toppled fortress, crushing Carl beneath his corpse. Harappa, who had been charging energy all this time, turned pale. He knew instantly this man was a monster. As he fled, thinking he might just escape, Jean appeared before him in a flash, gripping his throat. Heavenly thunder descent. Lightning erupted. Harappa's body was reduced to ash. Zhong turned slowly toward Jenny. Now only you remain. Wait, she stammered. I'll do anything. Anything you ask. He smiled and pulled out a slip of parchment. Good. Sign this. A dead note? 9 billion spirit stones. You can't be serious. But when she looked at her son's crushed body, she trembled and signed. He left her tied up. She could only crawl toward Carl, sobbing weakly. Suddenly, a shadow loomed over her, the witch from the demon realm. She had learned of Joan's path eastward and raised her staff. A massive meteor crashed down, obliterating everything. Unaware of it all, Zhong strolled away, already planning to collect payment later. Backing side. No wonder he's obsessed with money. The world's spiritual energy is tainted by demonic miasma. Only spirit stones still hold pure chi. To him, wealth literally means life. I asked her softly, it's getting late. We've been walking all day. Aren't you tired? How about we sleep together? Seeing her blushing face, I hurried to explain. Relax. We'll need your sense to locate the artifacts. I don't want you worn out. Let's stay inside the Thousand Autumn Mirror tonight. It's spacious and comfortable. But once we entered, Qing's mind began running wild with strange thoughts. She decided to step out for some air to calm herself. The moment she left, she was ambushed, feeling the aura of spiritual energy around by Qing. The witch immediately concluded she was the cultivator who appeared in Ghost Valley. Without hesitation, the witch launched her attack. After a fierce exchange, Bai Qing realized the power gap was far too wide. She wasn't her match at all. Cornered, she began to plead for mercy. From the witch's words, she learned the truth. The demon god was now just a remnant shell, needing to recover his artifacts to regain full strength. That meant we had to find the fragments before the demon lord did to restore my power first. Seeing her plan succeed, Bai Qing unleashed all her remaining strength. Suddenly, thick smoke filled the air. The witch inhaled it, her eyes turning hazy and unfocused. She began to fantasize, the demon god asking her to be his woman, whispering that their union ritual should begin right now. And my lord demon god, please give me a moment to prepare. She stammered nervously. Seeing the moment was right, Bai Qing raised her foxfire flame to end the battle once and for all. But before she could strike, the witch stabbed her first. The witch had used pain itself to forcibly break the illusion spell. The witch admitted that her illusion was intoxicating, so real she didn't want to wake up. But she had underestimated her own devotion to the demon god. The demon god was destined to rule all 3 realms, an existence she could only worship from afar. I won't let anyone defile him, she screamed, summoning stone pillars that shot toward Bai Qing. Despair filled Bai Qing's heart. She refused to accept it. After sleeping for so long, she couldn't die like this now. She cried out in panic, calling Zhong Tinshuan's name for help. Just in time, Zhong Tianshan appeared. With a swift motion, he shattered each stone pillar to dust. He said softly, next time, don't wander off alone. Call me to walk with you. Bai Qing's tears burst forth. Her trembling heart finally calmed. The witch froze when she saw his face. Zhong Tianshan looked exactly like the demon god himself. Recognizing him as the cultivator Jenny had mentioned, the witch roared, then I'll just kill you all. Countless shards of stones stormed toward him. Let's see you survive this. Every grain will slice your flesh like razors until you're nothing but dust. You won't even have time to beg for mercy. When the next moment, a glowing barrier appeared around Zhong Tianshan. The witch was stunned. Her ultimate spell completely nullified by a simple shield. When she mentioned Jenny, Zhong Tianshan demanded, what about her? Did she make it home safely? But the witch stood frozen, her belief shattered. Losing patience, Zhong Tianshan shouted, "I'm talking to you. Didn't you hear me?" His punch tore straight through her body. Only then did she realize how terrifying a cultivator truly was. Just one blow and she was destroyed. "I'll give you one last chance," he said coldly. "Tell me, what happened to Jenny?" When he heard that she was dead, fury ignited within him. The witch trembled. Zhong Tingshuan's aura surged like that of the demon god himself, suffocating and unstoppable. The witch quickly regained her composure, raising a finger toward the sky and channeling all her energy upward. In the next instant, countless meteors rained down, each one exuding crushing pressure. Yet none of it could harm Zhong Tianshan. The spirit dragon opened its jaws, swallowing every meteor whole. The witch collapsed to her knees, defeated completely. The power of a cultivator was terrifying beyond imagination. No wonder the high priest prophecy said the demon god would fall. Could it really be by his hand? She murmured. Zhong Tianshan took out the debt note and said calmly, "Since you killed Jenny, this IOU is void. You'll pay me 9 billion spirit stones instead." The witch frantically shook her head, claiming she had no money at all. With a sigh, Zhong Tianshan used a spiritual artifact to reclaim her equipment. Humiliated, the witch screamed, "I lost. So kill me if you must, but why strip me of my clothes? You shameless bastard. You think taking my body will win my heart? My heart belongs only to the demon god." She cried in despair. Zhong Tianshan ignored her. Anyone who harmed Bai Qing had to die. A sphere of thunder formed beside the witch. A flash of lightning erupted and she was gone, reduced to ash. Zhong Tianshan turned to Bai Qing, seeing her body covered in wounds. He decided to take her somewhere for treatment, but Bai Qing softly said that his spiritual energy alone could heal her. Still, soaking in a hot spring would help her absorb it faster. Moments later, the two arrived at a secluded spring. Bai Qing suggested he take off his clothes. It would help the energy flow. As Zhong Tianshan circulated his qi, his aura burst outward like a storm. Bai Qing stepped forward, pressing herself against him. After 2.5 minutes of spiritual nourishment, her wounds were completely healed. Zhong Tianshan, however, looked utterly drained. Soon after, they resumed their journey to search for the next artifact. After that night, Bai Qing had grown more attached to him than ever. At that moment, Bai Qing sensed the faint aura of a powerful artifact. Could very well be one of the ancient treasures of a Shantian sect. Meanwhile, a group of thugs was chasing down a young elf girl with nowhere to run. The girls summoned a swarm of glowing butterflies to protect herself. The thugs laughed, mocking her. Those pretty lights couldn't hurt them, but in the next instant, their bodies began to shrivel and weaken. The elf girl snapped coldly, "You dare lay hands on an elf? You fools have no idea what death feels like." Then from the shadows, two punk-like warriors appeared, radiating far greater power. Their strength was several times that of the first group. Aurora gritted her teeth. She had to strike first. A flurry of butterflies burst from her hands, rushing toward the two enemies. But the leopard print girl conjured a tornado that sucked every butterfly inside, twisting them off course. Aurora's expression turned grim. Just then, a radiant beam of light descended from above. Zhong Tianshan and Bai Qing had arrived. Bai Qing immediately sensed the aura of a spiritual artifact coming from Aurora. Zhong Tianshan stepped closer, carefully examining her, yet he couldn't find where the artifact was hidden. Suddenly, his eyes lit up. "Wait, don't tell me it's hidden there." The two punk warriors, furious of being ignored, charged forward to show off their skills. They roared and lunged at him. Zhong Tianshan responded with nothing but a single slap. The two were sent flying, spinning mid-air for a full 2.5 minutes before crashing hard into the ground. Without hesitation, Zhong Tianshan used his artifact to reclaim their gear. Aurora blushed, thinking nervously, "Don't tell me I'm next." Seeing Zhong Tianshuan's mischievous grin, she flinched and quickly pleaded, "W8, I'm just a kid." Once the misunderstanding was cleared, Aurora explained the truth. Her people guarded a sacred place known as the Fountain of Life, whose water could give birth to new elves. Zhong Tianshan realized the fountain's energy must be linked to an artifact that explained the aura Aurora carried. Unfortunately, the spring was now occupied by tentacle monsters. Anyone who approached was instantly attacked. If this continued, the elven race might soon face extinction. Hearing this, Zhong Tianshan decided to step in. After all, such a precious fountain of life would fetch a fortune. He couldn't just let those monsters keep it. On the road to the elf village, Aurora kept sneaking glances at Zhong Tianshan only to be caught by Qing. Lushing, she explained, our tribe is made up entirely of women. I've never seen a man this close before. I was just curious. Zhong Tianshan sighed inwardly. Being handsome really is a sin sometimes. Still, as long as no one tried to rob him, all was fine. After passing through the forest, they arrived in a breathtaking paradise. Every elf that was so beautiful, it almost hurt to look. The moment they learned Zhong Tianshan was a man, the entire village rushed toward him in excitement. So this is what a man looks like. He's so handsome. My heart's racing already. The spirit dragon slithered in chuckling. Now this is heaven. Hey ladies. Anyone want to ride the great dragon? All are welcome. No limits. Zhong Tianshan shot him a cold glare. If I kill this perverted lizard, will the sword disappear too? Soon the elegant elf princess emerged. Yet the moment her eyes met his, her lips parted and drool slipped down her chin. Aurora, show her guests around. She said quickly, I'll discuss the fountain with this man alone. Qing frowned. Something about the princess's tone didn't sound purely diplomatic. Once inside the chamber, the elf princess smiled seductively. Finally, just the two of us. Let's explore my special qualities first. Her heart raced wildly. She didn't know why, but something about him felt faded. Zhong Tianshan remained expressionless. Thinking he was shy, she began undressing him herself. The moment the elf princess saw Zhong Tianshan's solid 8-pack abs, she couldn't help but lean in for a kiss. But just before their lips met, he stopped her. Grabbing her by the shoulders, Zhong Tianshan tossed her onto the bed. I'm a righteous man, he said coolly. Women only slow down my blade. Instead of being angry, her face turned even redder. That move just now, it felt amazing. Could you do it again? Zhong Tianshan froze. It was the first time he'd ever heard such a ridiculous request. Then the elf princess confessed her burden. She was bound to guard the fountain of life for eternity. Because of this, she could never leave, forever longing for the colorful world beyond her forest. Hearing that, Zhong Tianshan felt a brief moment of pity, but pity aside, he thought perhaps she could use a little lesson. Still, he shook his head. I'm a man of principle. I won't waver that easily. At the moment, she pulled out a golden jade worth of fortune. His resolve shattered. That thing looks expensive. All right then, he grinned. Can I start now? His aura exploded. Prepare yourself for my wrath. Here I come. After an entire night of spiritual exchange, the elf princess's power skyrocketed, leaving all the other elves jealous. Soon, the whole elf tribe lined up begging to train with him. When the princess dragged him into her room again, the pervy spirit dragon transformed back into a sword, leaving the naive elves gasping, whoa. It was huge a second ago. How'd he turn into a sword? The spirit dragon crowed with pride, claiming this was nothing. Once it swallowed a magic core, it could take the form of any beast. With a loud bang, it shifted into a ghostly maid. Moments later, it morphed into a witch. Confident it had won the girls over, it invited them to go have fun, only to be flatly rejected. After all, their eyes were fixed on Zhong Tianshan. Qing watched the scene with a mix of disbelief and amusement, but she had no time for distractions. 2 minutes and 30 seconds had already passed. Zhong Tianshan still hadn't come out. Hearing noises from inside, Qing worried for his safety. Could the princess be testing Zhong Tianshan by roughing him up? She wondered. Cut to the wild base. The Shamate crew loudly exaggerated their tale. Their leader blamed the whole mess on their own weakness. Spotting an opening, the leopard print girl complained with indignation. That bastard was despicable. He knocked them down and humiliated them, even stripped off her favorite leopard suit. Leader, you must avenge her. The Pompadour leader flew into a rage. As captain, he'd never seen her naked. How dare some outsider take advantage? Encouraged by the leader's reaction, the leopard print girl then accused Zhong Tianshan of abducting elven women. The claim pushed the Pompadour over the edge. He couldn't believe someone would prey on elves. He leapt to his feet and ordered his men to gear up and hunt down the scum. A moment later, Aurora burst through a door with news. Invaders swarmed outside the village, but she froze at the sight before her. The elf princess lay prostrate on the bed in a humiliating posture. Aurora's face flushed scarlet. She slammed the door shut in a panic. The elf princess hurried to explain that she was only testing Zhong Tianshan's strength to see if he was strong enough to protect the village. Meanwhile, the wild squad was advancing with overwhelming momentum. But the moment the Pompadour leader saw the elves' breathtaking beauty, his eyes glazed over in lust. Holy beans, they're all long-legged goddesses. The elf girls, however, wrinkled their noses. That guy with the weird hair spike, ugh, so ugly. Not even a heartbeat. Their words only fueled the Pompadour's rage. Captain Maul, bring the elves back to camp. I'll make them talk myself. His underlings charged forward instantly, but just then, a world-shattering blast crashed down from above. The attackers were obliterated on the spot. It was the elf princess. Her gaze turned icy and divine. Filthy pests. How dare you lay hands on my kin? Turn back now and perhaps I'll spare one of you. Yet the Pompadour didn't hear a word. His attention was glued to her perfect form. She's flawless, he thought. Just like the forbidden book said, elves really are the hottest creatures alive. But when he saw Zhong Tianshan standing beside her, his lust twisted into fury. You bastard. You stole the fantasy straight out of my head. Today you die. With that, the Pompadour leader lunged straight at Zhong Tianshan, but the elf princess kicked him sky high. A filthy bug like you dares touch my man. Only then did he realize he wasn't the only S-rank around here. Seeing her defend him, Jean Tianshan frowned. Hey, that's my fight. I'm gonna pluck that stupid hair, spike myself. The princess smirked. That power of yours will be wasted on trash like them. You should save it for me. Zhong Tianshan was speechless. Great, so she's the real pervert here. The princess grew angrier by the second. I was this close to finishing. You ruined everything, you bug. She gathered radiant energy in her palms. I'll finish you fast, then go back to reunite with Jean Tianshan. A brilliant light beam erupted from her hands, but the Pompadour was still in S rank. It wasn't enough to kill him. He steadied himself and took a combat stance. Stomping his foot, he raised a huge boulder from the ground. With a roar, he smashed his fist into it. The fragment shot toward the elf princess like bullets. As she swept them aside, he darted in from the blind spot, throwing a vicious punch straight into her abdomen. But the impact passed through. She'd left a decoy behind. The next instant, she was above him. Her lips parted. Holy light, moon dance. A divine force exploded downward, obliterating the Pompadour into glowing dust. Turns out, even among S-ranks, there are levels. The Pompadour barely reached the threshold while the elf princess stood at its peak. His underlings saw their leader vaporized and bolted in sheer terror. Seeing the fight was over, the elf princess wanted to continue her talk with Zhong Tianshan, only to find he'd already vanished. Meanwhile, the defeated wild squad regrouped, planning to call in more S-rank powerhouses for revenge. But Zhong Tianshan wasn't one to leave loose ends. Knowing the danger of letting the tiger back to the mountain, he'd already set up an ambush along their retreat path. Well, dogs really can't stop eating shit. The elf princess spared you once, and you're already planning another raid? The Pompadour's veins bulged. So what if I lost to the elf princess? You pretty boy bastard. I'll crush you myself. With a roar, he charged forward, fist swinging. Zhong Tianshan didn't even flinch. Smack! A crisp slap echoed, spinning the man in place. Only then did the Pompadour realize he'd picked the wrong opponent. Don't get cocky, punk, he shouted, unleashing his ultimate move. Zhong Tianshan sighed. Haven't you heard? Villains always die because they talk too much. One slash ended it all. Then the dragon sword spirit surged forward like a storm, cutting through the remaining thugs. Screams filled the air as every last one fell under his blade. Not done yet, Zhong Tianshan said, turning to Bai Qing. Come on, let's raid their camp. I bet that's where they stash all the good stuff. Elsewhere, the red-haired girl had become separated from her squad. Out of nowhere, a tentacle monster attacked, binding her body in a heartbeat. Shocked, she couldn't believe such a vile creature existed within elven lands. Despair crept into her eyes. She watched helplessly as the creature's slimy tendrils numbed her entire body. Once she was unconscious, the cautious beast opened its maw wide and swallowed her whole. Moments later, its body pulsed with eerie purple light until the tentacle monster had completely transformed into her likeness. Meanwhile, sensing a surge of energy, Left looked into the distance. That direction, isn't that the spring of life? Don't tell me Zhong Tianshan ran there already. Her imagination went wild, picturing him caught in the clutches of a tentacle monster. Her cheeks flushed red. Everyone follow me. We're gonna save Zhong Tianshan. Aurora quickly stopped her. Sister, we should at least prepare first. Those tentacle beasts are our natural enemies. Left waver off. I don't care. Those monsters can wait. Saving my man comes first. Her words ignited the crowd. The elves cheered in unison. That's right. Save the man first. Our hero must not fall. Soon after, the elves searched the forest calling out Zhong Tinshuan's name. Left 2 entered the woods alone. As she walked, her mind wandered. That last academic exchange wasn't enough. I need another deep session with him. Just as her face grew red, several tentacles crept out from behind before she realized they had wrapped tightly around her. Left glanced down at the slimy things utterly unbothered. The tentacle monsters behind her cackled. The elf princess herself. Once we devour her, we'll reach tier 5. But before they could celebrate, lightning flared across Left's body. Soft little worms like you think you can bind me? Dream on. A thunderclap followed. She unleashed her lightning strike. In an instant, dozens of tentacled beasts were charred to ash. Left might be unstoppable, but the other elves weren't so lucky. The endless tentacles overwhelmed them. Those caught in their grasp couldn't break free. Their magic faltered as the sticky coils held them fast. The elven warriors fighting for the princess's beloved Zhong Tianshan launched an all-out assault, but against their natural enemies, they stood no chance. One by one, they were bound tight. The monsters laughed cruelly. Struggle all you want. This is our territory now. Soon your village will fall and every last elf will become one of us, part of the tentacle clan. Meanwhile, the tentacle monsters were already drooling, fantasizing about how delicious the elves would taste. Then crack, the elf princess crushed one beneath her heel, shocking the rest into silence. Wrapped in blinding energy, Left glared down. You still dare attack our village? I haven't even settled the score for what you did at the Spring of Life. 2 of the creatures stammered, and no. That idiot under your foot was just running his mouth. Left wasn't in the mood for excuses. A flash split the sky and lightning vaporized every last tentacle beast on spot. Aurora, trembling, apologized. I'm sorry, sister. We held you back. When you were so worried about Zhong Tianshan, we just made things worse. Left smiled. Nonsense. You're my people. Protecting you is my duty as princess. But deep down, she couldn't help thinking. Somehow, Zhong Tianshan mattered even more. Felt like fate itself. Just then, a massive tentacle beast emerged from the ground, its tendrils crimson red. Ah, so it was the elf princess herself killing my children, it sneered. And that look on your face, so hungry. Are you in heat? Left's eyes narrowed as she saw traces of the red-haired woman it had devoured. So that's what caused the energy spike earlier. She'd actually mistaken it for Zhong Tianshan. TCH, waste of emotion, floating above the battlefield. She warned coldly, mind your tongue when you speak to your queen. Make me mad and I'll fry you into takoyaki. The spell circle beneath her feet flared, releasing a massive wave of energy straight toward the monster. Whoa, what the hell? She opened with an ultimate. The creature curled up, defensively forming a full-body cocoon. It barely managed to withstand the blast. The ball like mass quivered, losing chunks of flesh. Such power. If not for our regeneration, I'd be toast. It hissed, but the words only made Left as fury burn hotter. Love? Emotion? What could a slime like you possibly understand? She spat. The monster laughed darkly. Love is for the weak. We are the Tentacle Clan. Only need to know your weaknesses. The Tentacle Lord suddenly unleashed its acid jet. Green liquid spewed from its maw, splattering all over Left's body, leaving her sticky and glistening. She scowled. That's your big move? Just some slime? The creature hissed, mock my technique and pay the price. This is a normal slime. I crafted it specifically to melt your kind. It dissolves clothing. As expected, Left's black stockings began to tear apart. The attack was disgustingly lewd. Yet instead of panic, Left chuckled softly. What a shame. Tianshan isn't here to see this. Seeing her blush, the monster thought it had won. Soon your outfit will melt completely, it sneered. No woman can fight when she's naked. You elves have already lost. Then it vomited another surge of green acid. The elves cried out as the liquid clung to them. Their armor hissing and burning away. Their bodies trembled, trapped in the slime. You can't even handle this much. Then I'll end it now. Today, the elf tribe becomes a myth. Its body split apart, spawning countless writhing tendrils that rushed toward them. The elves panicked, unable to defend themselves. But from above, Left descended like a thunder goddess, unleashing holy moonlight dance. Her blades of light severed every tentacle. Aurora gasped, incredible. That's my sister, the elf princess. The tentacle lord froze, impossible. According to my data, elves are timid and pure. That kind of shame should have crushed her spirit. She wasn't like this before. What happened to her? Left smirked. You seem surprised. Those filthy tricks of yours used to work. But after my academic exchange with Zhong Tianshan, I transcended being wrapped in slime, having my clothes melted. None of it compares to his hand striking my body again and again. That blazing masculine power, that's what true shame and pleasure mean. The tentacle lord blushed furiously. You caught yourself a pure elf. You're a disgrace to your entire race. With a roar, it slammed the ground. Massive tentacles erupted from beneath. You like getting hit, then let me indulge you. All at once, every tentacle whipped toward left in a furious storm. But to her it was nothing. Soft strikes easily shredded. Severed limbs rained from the sky. These weak hits, don't you dare compare them to Zhong Tingxian's strength, she sneered. Only he can please his queen. The tentacle lord froze dumbfounded. Unbelievable, truly unbelievable. It muttered, what kind of man could drive an elf princess this insane? Even the elves nearby were stunned. So the princess and Jean Tianshan are that close? Lucky man, I wonder what it feels like with my own hand. Never mind. Left's voice thundered. Your filthy tricks no longer work on me. Now I can fight without restraint. Today, the grudge between the elf tribe and your kind ends with me. She soared forward, blazing with fury. The tentacle lord roared, foolish woman. I'm a tier 5 beast. How do you look down on me? But it knew her power was overwhelming, so it spewed a thick black mist. Left sliced through the darkness in one sweep. Trying to run? Not a chance. She shouted, that last strike already hit you. She chased him relentlessly, lightning flashing around her like divine judgment. Meanwhile, Zhong Tianshan was looting the wild bandit camp. In the dungeon, he found dozens of imprisoned women. Even after he broke their chains, they knelt blankly. You're our new master. We'll behave. Please don't hurt us again. The little fox beside him was horrified. What kind of hell have they gone through to become like this? Zhong frowned. They'd probably sell for a fortune, but he sighed. No. You're free. Go home. The slaves blinked stunned. You're letting us go? That's right. Zhong said calmly, I love money but not dirty money. Go live your lives. Tears streamed down their faces. Thank you, master. We'll never forget your kindness. From this day, you're our second father. After looting every coin from the bandit camp, Zhong Tianshan still looked unsatisfied. The little fox tilted her head. What's wrong? Did you forget something important? Yeah. He said with a grin. The most valuable thing of all, leaving such a big base here would be a waste. With a single slash, Jean split the entire camp in two. Then he opened the eternal mirror, absorbing the entire base in a flash of light. Meanwhile, Lef was chasing the tentacle lord all the way to the spring of life. When she saw the sacred spring polluted and blackened, her eyes went cold. You dare defile our holy spring, unforgivable. The tentacle lord surfaced laughing. Kill me? Oh no, princess. This spring can birth new elves, but it works on other females too. That's why we claimed it. You monster, Left roared. You planned this all along. Of course, it shouted. With the spring of life, our kind can multiply endlessly. One day, we'll be the greatest demon race in the world. You elves hoard such a treasure and don't even use it properly. What a waste. Silence. Left thundered. The spring of life isn't a breeding tool. It's a relic of our creation, our faith, our soul. A filthy beast like you could never understand. Faith, it spat. Faith doesn't matter, only power does. Come out, my children. Tear this arrogant woman apart. Hundreds of baby tentacles burst from the water. Waves of slimy limbs shot toward Left, but she stood her ground calm as ever, slamming her staff into the ground. A golden barrier expanded outward like a sunburst. Every tentacle strike slammed against it, but not a single one could break through. The tentacle lord sneered. A barrier? Worthless. Against such power, it'll crumble in seconds. Once it breaks, you're finished. Left smirked. You misunderstand. This barrier isn't for defense. I told you, I'm killing you today. Her hands rose toward the heavens. Streams of mana surged skyward, weaving into a massive magic circle that blotted out the sky. The tentacle lord froze. What is that? How could a spell be that huge? From afar, Aurora whispered, she's really doing it. The forbidden spell of the elves, lament of the moon goddess. Without us holding her back, she can finally go all out. Meanwhile, Zhong Tianshan saw the explosion in the distance. The elf princess started the fight without me. No way. I'm not missing that. Let's move. Left's voice echoed coldly. If magic isn't violent enough, it's meaningless. And now, there's no one here to stop me. You're done. A beam of pure energy erupted from the heavens, crashing toward the tentacle lord. I'm not afraid of that. It roared, but as its tentacles touched the beam, they disintegrated instantly. Wait, we can talk. The rest was drowned out by a deafening explosion. The world turned white. The spell, Lament of the Moon Goddess, vaporized everything within hundreds of meters. Aurora's face paled. That's the strongest elven spell, but it drains every drop of psychic energy. She's risking everything. Success or not, she's in danger. I have to reach her now. As the light faded, Left collapsed to one knee, trembling. I told you the barrier wasn't for defense. This battle is mine. Her vision blurred as her strength faded. Then a firm, warm hand caught hers. Zhong Tianshan had arrived. Easy. Are you all right? Left suddenly felt that intoxicating touch. There was no mistake. Her man had arrived. Zhong Tianshan murmured, not bad. You actually took down the tentacle monster's nest by yourself. Was overjoyed. If not for my in-depth academic exchange with her, she could never have resisted that filthy creature's tricks. This all thanks to me. The little fox stood there utterly dumbfounded. Left noticed her stare. What? Is there a problem? Kinda like it. Besides, I'm really weak right now. I need to hold my shun tight to recover. Zhong said, you're pressing against me. Left blushed and replied, really? Then what do you think of me? Not bad. The moment I defeated the tentacle monster, you showed up. This must be the moon goddess's blessing. If you don't treasure me, that would be a sin against heaven. The next moment, Left leaned forward and kissed Zhong Tianshan. The little fox gasped. What's with this princess? She's acting like I'm not even here. At that moment, Aurora arrived. Sister, are you all right? I came to save you. Where's the monster? Is it defeated already? She seemed to have come a bit late. Was she just being overly sentimental? Just as the two were getting intimate, the fountain of life suddenly began to tremble. A massive tentacle monster roared, Damn elves, celebrating already? You haven't won yet. The Tier 6 beast, the mimic tentacle mother, had arrived. Even after taking the elf queen's ultimate attack, it survived and evolved into a higher tier. Could Zhong Tianshan and the others handle this? The tentacle mother sneered. That last spell must have drained you dry. Now it's my turn to perform. Elven insects, you're finished. Aurora and the little fox froze in shock. A Tier 6 beast. So this is the true leader of the tentacle tribe. That demonic aura is insane. Meanwhile, Left was still cuddling Zhong Tianshan. Completely annoyed, their moment was interrupted. So annoying, she pouted. Why does someone always have to ruin my fun? I'm not satisfied yet. Can you really take responsibility for that? Just as Left was about to strike again, Zhong stopped her. You're exhausted. Leave this one to me. Left's heart practically bloomed. So manly. My shun is standing up for me. This must be what a confession feels like. How romantic. Shun's totally in love with me now. Zhong stared blankly at the trembling Left. She's imagining something weird again. The tentacle mother was dumbfounded. I'm a Tier 6 monster, the matriarch of my kind. You two flirting right in front of me, fine, but challenging me to a fight? You're not even taking me seriously. 3 enormous tentacles shot towards Zhong Tianshan. Yet he didn't even move, just stood there releasing his aura. The tentacles froze midair. Cracks began spreading across their surface. A second later, they shattered like diced meat scattering across the ground. Jean muttered, so what if I don't take you seriously? Go on, hit me. The tentacle monster screamed in agony, my fingers. Aurora was stunned. She hadn't even seen what he did. It was beyond comprehension. Leaf's eyes sparkled as expected of the man I've chosen, truly exceptional. Jean said calmly, the fountain of life holds a relic I need. You're my way. Disappear. Star life flared behind him. Within seconds, countless dragon blade swords burst forth, streaking toward the monster. The tentacle monster lashed its arms, roaring, petty magic, I fear nothing. But the moment the swords made contact, every tentacle was sliced clean through. The beast, pierced full of holes, howled in disbelief. Impossible. I'm a Tier 6 monster. How could it be this strong? Then it grinned savagely. No matter, my regeneration is unmatched. As long as I breathe, I'll recover. Zhong leapt into the air, his presence freezing the entire lake. The tentacle monster trembled, paralyzed. Monsters like you, he said coldly, must be wiped out completely. The battered creature shrieked, wait, let's talk about this. Zhong rose higher, countless energy spheres forming around him with a low shout, chain lightning slash. The spheres fired all at once. The tentacle monster sneered, that's it. Those tiny orbs won't kill me. As long as a piece of me remains, I'll live. Then his grin vanished. The spheres swelled to colossal size. Too late. The massive blast engulfed the entire lake. From a side, Left gasped dreamily. So big, so powerful. I love it. Aurora was just as stunned. Unbelievable. A tear. 6 beasts couldn't even fight back. There's always someone stronger. Zhang Chenchuan's power is beyond imagination. With a final scream, the tentacle mother's body disintegrated into ashes. Even the tainted water of the fountain of life began to shine with vitality again. Left, meanwhile, had an entirely different thought. If my Shun could unleash that much energy on me instead, how amazing would that feel? Zhong Tianshan descended slowly onto the lake surface. Come out, he murmured. It's time to meet your master. Ripples spread across the water. Suddenly, a crimson sphere shot up from the depths. It spoke in a trembling voice, 5,000 years. Finally, my wait is over. I thought I'd never awaken again. Let's become one. As Zhong absorbed the orb, it introduced itself. I'm the solar essence core, a relic that grants infinite vitality and energy and radiates an irresistible charm to the opposite sex. Use this power wisely, it warned. Can change everything. Once the fusion was complete, Jean felt his aura surge violently, almost to the point of breakthrough. So this is the power of a merged soul shard. Incredible. Then he frowned, but this solar essence core sounds kinda indecent, an irresistible charm to women. He glanced at the little fox. Her eyes sparkled. I'm so happy. Helping Shun get the Shin Tian sect relic. That means I'm important to him. Even Aurora blushed. So the thing I saw really was inside the fountain of life. Such fate. How should I repay him? Zhang's face reddened slightly. Both of them acting like that. Yeah. This relic definitely works. Wait, where's the elf princess? She's probably the most vulnerable to this kind of influence. A bad premonition hit him. Don't tell me she's... Meanwhile, Lef had already collapsed to the ground. Her heart was racing. Why is he so perfect? Handsome, powerful, it's unfair. Remembering his heroic form in battle, she clutched her chest. My poor royal heart, I can't handle this anymore. Zhong Tianshan sprang forward and landed in front of the girls. The affected little fox and Aurora jolted. Aurora blushed. The first thing after battle is coming to me. Isn't that a bit bold? Little fox, cheeks red, added, helping retrieve the sect relic was what I should do. You don't need to thank me. Aurora then closed her eyes. I'm the village's hero. This is the only way I can repay you. Please don't hold back. Little fox looked at him shyly. We've been together so long. You know my feelings. Are we finally taking that step? Cool me. I waited forever. Seeing the two worked up, Zhong Tianshan felt awkward. I hear you. I'll do my best to accommodate, but first I have to deal with the most urgent case. He pointed, only then noticing Left collapsed and trembling. At that moment, the condensed sun essence said that Princess Left of the Elves had a naturally fierce desire, and under the influence of the condensed sun essence, it had doubled. It was desire upon desire. She would go up in flames. Without venting, her body would explode. Only you can save her now. The choice is yours. Zhong Tianshan thought, if she hadn't met me, she wouldn't be like this. This is on me. A man doesn't run. Walking away isn't my style. With that, Zhang Tianshan stripped off his clothes. Little Fox and Aurora spurted nosebleeds on the spot. Thank you, Mother Nature. Now we can die without regrets. He paused. Public place, bad idea. Let's move. They entered the mirror of eternity. Left sobered a little. Was this place paradise? And why is Shenzhen standing before this queen with nothing on? That's too much for my heart. Zhong Tianshang murmured. Good. You've got some clarity back. You're burning up. I have to vent it for you or you'll die. Left smiled. Vent me? I see. You're here to reward me. Then this queen won't be shy. As the mirror of eternity shook violently, Little Fox was baffled. What are they doing in there? Aurora admitted, I don't really know. I've never experienced it. Suddenly, garments flew out from inside the mirror of eternity. Aurora gasped, wait, that's sister's black stockings. As Zhong Tianshan and Lef entered the Mirror of Eternity, both the little fox and Aurora started letting their imaginations run wild. Just the two of them alone in that space and completely naked. Are they really about to go that far? The sounds coming from inside were so intense that her body started reacting too. She remembered back when she absorbed Zhong Tinshuan's energy. They had kissed several times, but nothing ever this deep, this intimate, so unfair. She muttered a hint of jealousy in her voice. She couldn't just sit and wait. Determined, the little fox stepped forward and walked straight into the Mirror of Eternity. Aurora blinked in disbelief. Wait, does that mean I'm the only one left out here? What do I do? I want to go too, but if I walk in there on my own, that'd be way too embarrassing. Inside the Mirror of Eternity, his passionate voice echoed. Yes. Right there. Use all your strength against me. I can take it. This queen never loses. Aurora's cheeks flushed. No. She couldn't just stand there any longer. Her heart was racing like never before. She had to act. Determined, she stepped into the mirror realm. What she saw left her stunned. It was enormous. Who would have thought such a small entrance hid an entire world inside? Zhong Tianshan truly was beyond comprehension. She thought, I have to find him quickly. He risked so much for us. As a princess, I must set the example and repay him properly. Following the trail of Zhong Tinshuan's aura, she finally reached the source and froze. Wait, that can't be. Aurora's eyes widened as she saw little fox and Lef together. Her legs gave out and she collapsed trembling. Just watching was already overwhelming. If she joined in, no, that was impossible. Zhong Tianshan sighed, if it's too much, then don't. You shouldn't even be here. I opened the Mirror of Eternity to save your sister. Go back. But Aurora declared with conviction, no. I'm staying. I'll repay you just like my sister and little fox did. Jin Tianshan's sweat dropped. The condensed sun essence is terrifying. I'm in for some serious trouble from now on. By the next morning, the elves grew worried when their queen didn't return. Standing before the mysterious dimensional rift, the royal guard said, last night we slowed Her Majesty down. Today we'll make it right. He crouched and peeked inside, silently praying nothing had happened to her. Without their queen, the elves were doomed. The next moment, his face turned crimson. Then he felt his knees trembling in shock. The others panicked. What happened? What did you see? Why are you kneeling? The guard stumbled back shaking. It's paradise, the land of pure bliss. Paradise, the elves exclaimed. What are you talking about? Did you see your majesty and the princess or not? The queen and the princess are both inside along with that handsome man. They were just... Before the elf could finish, a figure stumbled out. It was Left, the elf queen herself barely standing. Ugh, so tired. Shun's way too powerful. My whole body feels like jelly. She sighed in bliss, but it was perfect. So good. Right behind her, Aurora limped out holding her knees. Ouch, my back's killing me, but that was amazing. It hurt a little, but I'm so happy. She smiled faintly. Having such a night with Zhong Tianshan was a memory worth a lifetime. Finally, Zhong Tianshan came out carrying baking on his back. Trembling, she murmured, Shan, you're way too strong. I seriously thought I was gonna die just now. He rolled his eyes. You're exaggerating. You can't even walk. She pouted, not exaggerating at all, my body's just extra sensitive. Zhong Tinshuan's face turned red and Left quickly interrupted. Little fox, don't think you can keep Xuanzan all to yourself. It's my turn next. After all, I did most of the work last night. Seeing their queen and princess safe, the elves rejoiced. They're back. Her Majesty and the princess are fine, and the man too. When I got a good look at Zhong Tianshan, they all blushed. He's even more handsome than before. Zhong Tianshan glanced over at them. That one look sent dozens of elf girls' hearts racing, their imaginations running wild. But suddenly, one elf cried out, Your Majesty. Bad news. The tentacle beast may be gone, but the spring of life has lost its power. Left since the air, her face darkened. No mana flow, it's really gone. Without the spring's blessing, how will we elves reproduce? She turned her gaze slowly toward Zhong Tianshan, eyes gleaming with intent. He froze. Oh no. I know exactly what she's thinking. From his back, shouted, Hey. What's with those looks? You're not seriously dumping the whole repopulation mission on him, are you? There are so many elves. You expect Xuanzhan to handle all of you alone? You'll kill him at this rate. Bye, Qing shouted. Left gave him a pitiful look, but our elf girls are so fair, so lovely, so soft. Surely Shenzhen wouldn't let our entire race go extinct, right? Why don't I just move in a Jinling village permanently? We all need Shenzhen, especially me. Zhong Tianshan froze. Hold on. I'm kinda busy. Bai Qing quickly added, yeah. Shun's got a mission to complete. He can't stay here making little elves all day. It'll destroy my body too. Aurora sighed. What shame. You really can't stay. Left his eyes welled up. Our bond can end here. Shunzun. I've even picked out names for our children. Around them, the elves began to cry. Our savior is abandoning us. Zhong Tianshan went silent for a moment. Maybe there's a way to revive the spring of life. Left his eyes sparkled. A way? Don't tell me. It's you and me bathing together in the spring to dual cultivate? She gasped dramatically. Yes. Our combined energy will reawaken the spring. That must be it. Zhong Tianshan sighed. No, not like that. I need to perform an ancient ritual, a very private one. Everyone return to Jinling village and wait. No peeking under any circumstances. Once everyone was gone, he stared into the spring of life, thinking aloud that it was the condensed sun essence that blessed this place and gave birth to the elves. They never knew the truth. For 5,000 years they guarded it faithfully. I'm only reclaiming what's mine, but I won't let their race perish. Meanwhile, hidden in the nearby forest, Left peeked from behind a tree, whispering just what kind of ritual needs so much secrecy. Bai Qing also peeked out beside her. I want to see how he's gonna revive the spring. Left glared, then Shun's Hun, say no one could watch. Why are you here? Bai Qing shot back, and you aren't? Left turned away. Fine. But this stays between us. Bai Qing nodded, obviously. Then Zhong Tianshan moved, catching both their eyes. Left his cheeks burned. He's undressing. Oh heavens. Both women blushed furiously. Zhong Tianshan removed his clothes, closed his eyes, and focused his energy. Suddenly, his eyes snapped open as he roared. A massive black dragon burst into the sky. The dragon coiled in mid-air, radiating overwhelming power. Left his jaw dropped, a black dragon. Shun's Hun actually summoned such a majestic beast, that size that might, even I must bow before it. Bai Qing trembled under the dragon's aura. It's enormous, that thing's overflowing with life energy. Just one glance and my whole body shaking. Shanzhan poured his power into the black dragon, an energy so fierce it could shake the heavens themselves. Soon, the dragon would unleash that power and complete the ritual. Both women watched with anticipation. The dragon's eyes suddenly blazed bright red, and it opened its jaws, firing a crimson energy beam straight into the spring of life. The spring began to churn, violently glowing from within. The next second, waves of water erupted like a living tsunami. With a thunderous splash, the flood swallowed the entire forest. Sitting amid the water, Left gasped, so much water. Even from here, I'm drenched. This isn't a spring, it's a flood. The water pulsed with divine vitality. Just touching it made her feel countless life forces flowing through her. Is this the power of that relic? Incredible. Zhong Tianshan descended before her. It's done. Your spring of life has been restored, but its blessing won't last forever. When it fades, I can always perform the ritual again. Left's eyes sparkled. You saved our race, Shanshan. You're the savior of the elves. Bai Qing snorted. Savior? More like their creator. Zhong Tianshan crossed his arms. Let's not talk about that. I remember saying no one was allowed to peek during the ritual, right? Privacy is crucial. If I were interrupted, the consequences could have been disastrous. Backing bowed, she only watched because she was worried about you. If you're angry, punish me instead. Left immediately jumped in front of her. She's innocent. I'm the one who started it. Punish me, not her. She gazed at him with a mischievous smile. Come on. Summon that mighty black dragon again and punish your queen properly. I've sinned greatly. Be merciless, Shun's Han. Whatever the punishment, I'll take it all. At that moment, Zhong Tianshan finally understood exactly what she meant. Back in the mirror of eternity, there were too many people around. Left never really got satisfied. Looked like it was time to teach her a proper lesson. He raised his hand and smacked Left his hips hard. With every sharp slap, Left couldn't hold back a moan of pleasure. Yes, that's it, harder. If I disobey you, I deserve to be punished. I've always longed for this, my dear Sunday through Sunday. Bai Qian blushed furiously from the side while Left kept gasping. Come on, Sunday through Sunday. Train your queen. Make me yours completely so I'll never forget this lesson. After a fierce round of punishment, Zhong Tianshan looked down at the trembling left. So was that hard enough for you? Are you finally satisfied? Why is completely, I'm satisfied, left panted, her voice weak but full of bliss. From now on, this queen will obey Sunday through Sunday in everything. I'll accept all of your discipline. Beside them, Bai Qing shivered and grumbled. If you wanted to punish the queen, you could have just punished her. Why drag me into? I can barely stand now. Zhong Tianshan scratched his head awkwardly. Sorry. I got too caught up in a moment. Guess I let my hands move on their own. Deep down though, he couldn't help thinking. He used to be indifferent to such things, but now everything felt different. Was this another side effect of a solar essence core? Counting the solar essence core and the remaining fragments of a scattered soul, there were still 7 left. He had to hurry and set out again with a little fox. Left noticed the distance in his eyes. She leaned closer, her voice trembling softly. Son, don't abandon me, please? She knew it was impossible for him to stay with the elves forever, but she still wanted to follow him. Being queen never brought her joy. What she truly wanted was to see the world beyond the forest at his side. Son, please let me go with you. Hearing her words, Zhong Tianshan could feel she truly meant it from the bottom of her heart. He didn't hesitate any longer. If you've already decided, then come with me. Bai Qing asked worriedly, if you leave, what about the elves? Without their queen, the village will fall into chaos. Les smiled softly. That's nothing you need to worry about. She already had someone in mind to inherit the throne. It was Aurora, kind-hearted, responsible, gifted, and deeply trusted by her people. She was born to be the next elf queen. Meanwhile, far away in the depths of the demon realm, a shadow broke the silence of the abyss. The figure was none other than the Dominion demon himself, his presence oozing overwhelming power. He came to see the lord of this place, the 8th-tier beast, the Skeleton King. The undead monarch spoke slowly. What brings you here? Do you wish to offer your soul and serve under me? The demon snorted. Serve under you? You got backward. I'm here to make you submit to me. The Skeleton King roared in rage. Arrogant fool, do you know who you're talking to? I am the Skeleton King, the 8th-tier master of death itself. The demon replied coolly, I know exactly who you are. If you weren't worth my time, I wouldn't have come in person. Submit to me and you may yet live. You still don't understand where you stand, the Skeleton King sneered. Look beneath your feet. Those bones belong to fools like you, beasts and heroes who challenged me. Their bodies became dust beneath my feet and you'll soon join them. As his voice fell, legions of skeletal soldiers climbed out from the white bones below. It was his signature move, Death Summon, Army of Bones. Rip them apart, the Skeleton King commanded. In an instant, the undead army surged forward like a tidal wave. The demon was quickly swallowed by the sea of bones. A heartbeat later, crimson demonic energy exploded from the center. The blast shattered the skeletons into pieces, their bones scattering like ash in the storm. The demon stood wrapped in a dark shield sneering. Trash will always be trash. I didn't come here to crush a few skeletons. I came to conquer you. If you can't even use your full strength, you're not qualified to kneel before me. The Skeleton King's tone hardened. So be it. You've chosen death, I'll grant it. At his command, the countless bones around them lifted into the air, drawn to him by dark energy. For centuries, these bones have been both his trophies and his source of power. Open your eyes and behold, his giant skull shrank, reshaping into a towering humanoid skeleton. This is my supreme undead form. Still think you can act arrogant before me? But the demon's gaze caught the crimson orb pulsing within the creature's chest. A cold smile curved his lips. The corrupted relic, Death Spider. So was here after all. The Skeleton King froze. What Death Spider? Was I a target? In the next instant, his body collapsed to one knee completely against his will. What did you do to me? Why can't I move? The demon raised a black cube, the cube of dominion. It commands the body and will of any creature tainted by demonic energy. They obey me willingly. Even humans corrupted by darkness cannot resist its call. The Skeleton King growled in frustration. Damn it, how despicable. You only win through demonic tricks. Face me fairly and you'd lose. The demon smirked. Still not convinced? Typical loser talk, always an excuse. Victory decides everything. In this world, the winner is always right. As he spoke, the cube in his hand began to rotate. The Skeleton King's eyes turned crimson. His voice trembled yet obeyed. "I submit, my lord. It's an honor to serve you." Meanwhile, inside the Demon Hunter Guild of Pharaoh City, Zhong Tianshan and Baking's names had just appeared on the bounty board. The charge: murdering members of the four great families, Jenny, Palapa, Alan, and Carl, and fleeing the city. In the guild hall, Catherine and Mel were arguing fiercely in Zhang's defense. On behalf of the Holy Cross Order, Mel declared, "Hero Jean Tianshan is innocent. Cancel the bounty and reopen the investigation." Catherine followed, slamming her hand on the table. "The Steve family guarantees him. He'd never do something so vile nor run away." Officer Beers of the guild replied calmly, "I understand your sentiment, but all the evidence points to Jean Tianshan. Even if he didn't commit the murders himself, he's deeply connected." Jenny and Carl were found stripped. The scene was obscene. And worse, 3 of them were rank telekinetics. "Do you even grasp what that means?" Catherine blushed the moment she heard Jenny was stripped, saying this really fit Zhong Tinshuan's style. Mel's heart also raised as she said, "The scene must have been extremely vulgar." "How vulgar exactly? I kinda wanna see it." Beers stared at the 2 of them, dumbfounded. "Are you 2 kidding me right now? Did you even catch the point?" She wasn't talking about whether it was vulgar or not. Those were S-rang telekinetics from the 4 great families of Pharaoh City. 3 of them. Even if Zhong Tianshan didn't kill them, escaping from their joint assault is already insane. That means his power surpasses S-rank. His very existence threatens the Demon Hunter Guild. This bounty came from the top, and I have no right to revoke it unless he serves the guild. The words left both women speechless. After leaving the guild, Catherine complained, asking Jean Tianshan to join them just to clear his bounty. "That's impossible." Mel nodded, saying, "Yeah, I'm a man as free and mysterious as the wind." She could see it in my eyes. I'm the kind of man who never wavers. I'd never bow to the guild just to lift a bounty. That had ruined my style. Hearing that, Catherine sighed softly. She recalled that night they'd gone that far, wrapped in such passion. But when she woke up the next morning, she was all alone in bed. "I miss Zhong Tianshan so much. What's he doing now? Is he thinking of me too?" Meanwhile, in the elven village, Zhong Tianshan was helplessly enduring the clingy affection of the elf girls. With a resigned tone, he reminded them, "Your queen is in the middle of a royal transition right now. Isn't this a bad time?" Hearing that, the 2 elves turn away, saying, "You're right, we got too eager. The new queen's coronation deserves some restraint." During the ceremony, Left declared that after her battle with the tentacled beast, she realized her weakness and needed to travel with Shun Shun for training. "The throne of the elven tribe, only you can inherit it with my full trust. Aurora, are you ready to wear the crown?" "Yes." "She's ready. She'll give everything for the elven village and never let anyone down. To wear the crown is to bear its weight. I hope you understand its meaning. From this moment, you are the queen of the elves, Aurora. I will honor my sister's teachings." The crowd below shouted Aurora's name in unison. Seeing the scene, Left smiled in relief. "It seems everyone has accepted you. My mission is done. Now it's time for me to train with Shun's Hun." Aurora gasped, "So soon? At least stay for dinner before you go." "No can do," Left replied. "Our training can't wait another second." A bit of drool slipped from the corner of her mouth as she spoke. Then she stepped on the railing with 1 foot and leapt straight toward Zhong Tianshan. Zhong just froze, whispering, "What a beautiful view." A second later, thud, Aurora rushed forward, worried. "Big sis, are you okay? You don't look too steady." Left, trembling on top of Zhong, said, "It's fine. Just overdid it in the last battle. My body's still weak. Legs went soft. That's all." Zhong Tianshan felt a chill. With Left pressed against him, the solar essence core inside him started to flare again. "How strange. My body was weak a second ago, but now it's burning up." Pressed against Shun Shun, Left felt the energy in her body rising higher and higher. Aurora noticed the tension thickening. The scene felt disturbingly familiar. Every elf was watching. If this turned into another repeat of that night, chaos would be unavoidable. She had just taken the crown and was already facing such a test. No. She had to set an example and stop this before it escalated. Left gazed to Jean Tianshan with misty eyes. "Shan Shan, be honest. Did I do something to you? Why does your body react like that every time we touch?" "I didn't do anything. You're the one losing it, and I can't keep my composure either. My focus isn't what it used to be. If you don't get off me soon, things might get dangerous." Left grinned and straddled him. Is that so? This position feels so embarrassing. I'm such a bad girl, but I like it. Zhong's temples throb. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? You're playing with fire. Guess I'll have to punish you properly. The other elves turned away, whispering with flushed faces. Punish? What kind of punishment? We kinda wanna try it too. Hearing that, Zhong Tianshan could no longer hold back. His eyes glowed red. You asked for this yourselves. Beside him, Bai Qing sensed danger and shouted, Shan, laugh. Control yourselves. This isn't the time for that. This is the sacred coronation of the elf queen. Don't ruin such an important moment for the tribe. But as she yelled, Bai Qing felt the same heat spreading inside her. No. This can't be happening. I'm losing control too, and Shun's already gone over the edge. Someone please stop this. Suddenly, a few purple butterflies fluttered before her eyes. Bai Qing blinked in confusion. Where did these come from? Then a wave of sleepiness washed over her and she collapsed onto the ground fast asleep. One by one, the other elves fell in a slumber as well. Those butterflies were actually Aurora's moonlight sleep butterflies. Though her body trembled and her mind burned with desire, as queen she had to fight it to protect everyone. Even if it meant sacrificing her own body, she had to stop her sister and Shun. Left, surrounded by the glowing butterflies, blinked lazily. What's Aurora trying to do? Big sis is busy right now. Don't get in the way. Okay. She yawned, then slowly drifted into sleep. Just before losing consciousness, she murmured, No, can't fall asleep yet. I'm still waiting for Shun's punishment. Aurora trembled as she looked around at the sleeping elves. Finally, she sighed in relief. At least she'd stopped it before it went too far. Even if her mind was filled with embarrassing thoughts about Shun, she had managed to protect them all.
Alright, that's the end of the story. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.